morning, everybody.
Morning, Father.
So, how many days for Christmas?
4.
It depends you count. Today is December 20th, you have 5 days. But if you count the vigil mass, you have 4 days. But today and yesterday, there is, I think it's 2 stops. The first stop, you see Zachariah, the priest in the temple. The priest Zachariah was given a message by the archangel Gabriel. He said, I am Gabriel who stands before God. And today you see Blessed Mother was greeted by Archangel Gabriel. But both have the same experience, but one get punished, the other get blessed. Yesterday you saw that he was kind of cursed, or I was punished, I was not cursed, punished, to be mute until John the Baptist was born. But Blessed Mother, instead, he said, if you look at the wording, it's exactly the same. How can this be? He said, I'm an old man. What made the difference?
Because he didn't believe.
See, this is why it's very important for us to know what made the difference.
Doubt.
The doubt?
Doubt.
Blessed Mother also doubt because she didn't.
No, she didn't doubt.
She didn't doubt.
She took it as that's what she was supposed to do.
Okay, so that's why.
She was humble.
Okay, the answer to this, that's why the more you know, you start to see the difference. Why? The questions are, if you look at if you meditate, you can look it up very deeply and ponder it, because the answer to it is very clear. No, that's why people sometimes, you have a lot of answers. I agree with all your answers, but if you notice the difference is the place they stand. The place they stand is the difference. Where was priest Zechariah was standing?
By the altar.
By the altar. Where was he standing was where the ark of God has kept in the temple that it was supposed to be kept. Okay, remember after the temple, the ark of God was lost, but remember the temple, there was the incense time, remember? He was chosen by 1 in 10,000. That's his lifetime incensing God in the altar. And the angel comes in, he doubts. Okay? Blessed Mother is human, just you see that, you can't say, oh, okay, because this, but if you ask the question is, how can this be? Of course, as we know Blessed Mother, she never doubted. We can believe that, but the question is, since I have no relationships with man, she doesn't know how this is going to be possible, right? Because she doesn't have the faith, like she's just a young girl. If you look at it, she's 14 to 16 years, that's what was predicted. She's standing in the kitchen in a small house. The place is important, according to scriptures. Where you stand is important. If you notice, there's a story in the king. There's a king that walks, he wants to come in, I believe it's King Uzziah. He comes straight to the church. He was the youngest king, I believe, 16 years old. He was crowned in the Old Testament. He was a king. He could do everything except one thing. You know what? He could not incense the altar. Only priests are allowed to do it. You know what he does? I'm the king. I walk in. He walks into the church. He takes the incense. He comes right in. There are 80 priests to stand like this. Please don't do it. Who are you, priest? What do you know? The anger and the pride grew in him. You know what happened? The moment he did that, the leprosy came on his forehead, and the crown he could not wear the crown since then. The pride, when it grows, and against God, against the priest, what is going to happen? Sickness strikes to the king. Shows in the Old Testament. Because that the place has been preserved, even from the Old Testament until New Testament, still reserved for the priests. It's very important. That's why you see the story in the Old Testament shows that where you stand matters. So she was blessed because she knew. She's a young woman just like everybody else. She didn't know. But the beauty I saw that here was that she was 14, 15 years old. she received the grace in Immaculate Conception, and that grace grew. The grace grew. The anointing has to grow. There's a chapters in Ezekiel, 46. So the grace has to grow in us. And when it matures, that's where she become Mother of God. In our life, in spiritual life, when we receive grace is good. The grace is sufficient for you. But remember, there's a great growth of grace in grace. And we need to grow as a Christian, as a Catholic, to grow in that grace. Otherwise, what happens? We'll be like a King Uzziah. We will say, I can do it. I am a grace person. I am a prayerful person. I am a Catholic. I am a this. I am a this. I am a this. And what happens? You will see the crown will lose in our life. Because we all run. Only very few receive the crown of life. That's why Jesus said, many are called, few are chosen. Let us be humble like Blessed Mother to receive that word. Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. May it done unto me according to your word.